Alright, just a few new features in version 29, a few more new features. There were already a bunch. So now I'm running version 29.2. And what do we have here? So, yeah, since the last video, which was 29.17, we can do this this new trick of we are zoomed in here, and we're on a time base of -6. So way zoomed in, and before you still can't change the trigger time. So move the trigger time that you're trying to select here, but you can at least now drag this middle line and drag it left and right, which basically does the same thing. Since we're in this zoomed in view, we're not really changing when we're triggering, but we're just changing where we start displaying from on the screen. So that can be nice, but that's a minor thing. Let's see, we also have this status bar, and it shows the sample rate. So this will be correct now when you do like 2 channels. It'll go down to 1.6 gigasamples per second, and back to 3.2. And if you're oversampling, then it will if you're oversampling and you interleave, then it will actually go up to 6.4 gigasamples per second. And if you're going slower and you don't have on the high res, then it'll show you that slower sample rate also. So just some minor fixes there. Let's turn that channel back off. So let's see, some other neat things. So we had this this persist menu here, which will let us add additional lines that are drawn, and then they'll kind of slowly fade away. I have to be on the correct channel. It's only done for the currently selected channel. So if you're selecting some other channel, then they won't be drawn, but they'll be drawn for the currently selected channel. You could have it for like other channels all at once, but that's not what I have right now. And yeah, you can even show the number of currently drawn channels. The max is, currently drawn lines, the max is 16. So if you have them stick around for less time, then you'll have fewer lines being drawn at any one time. So let's say you have those extra persist lines being drawn. We can now decide whether to draw them or not. So we can make them just go away or be there. That's one thing. But we can also draw this average. So we can average all of the persist lines, and what you'll get is a nice stable line, which is it's just drawn as in white. So yeah, it just kind of looks neat. And then you can also get rid of the persist lines being shown, but they're still there. They're just not being drawn, but you can still draw the average. And when you're doing that, the color of the line goes back to the standard color of the channel, right? It was white, and now it's just drawn as red again. But now it's a really stable average of those 16 of the last traces. And yeah, if you turn that off, that's what we have, just each individual line. But if we do the averaging, you really start to see some nice stability. So that's kind of nice. Another thing we have here that's new is just turning that off again. We have this new menu item. So you see, if you really zoom in, the trigger is not totally stable around this point. There's, I don't know, what is this? This is like 100 femtoseconds, 100 picoseconds per division, right? So this is maybe 10 picoseconds or something like that. But if you have like a even higher frequency signal, it can get worse. So if you go like, 1355. All right. Yeah, now it really is kind of worse. Now we have like, because the samples are, there's just not that many samples, right? I mean, look where they are, and that's with upsampling. So again, without the upsampling, our trigger stability algorithm is working, and they all go through the correct point. But when you turn on the resampling, the upsampling, then they're not always going to go through the right point, because it's not a straight line anymore, and we're extrapolating a straight line, and the algorithm kind of is not a great approximation anymore. So what can we do in this case? When we have the upsampling on and you still want it to go through the middle perfectly, we turn on this extra trigger stabilizer, and that will run after the resampling, and it will make sure that it always goes through the center here. It's still doing a linear approximation, but it's using all of the upsampled data, which is much more densely packed, in order to do the trigger stabilization, as opposed to the non-upsampled data. So that works nicely, and now look what a stable, what was this frequency? It was 1355, 1.355 gigahertz, and it's looking really stable. And we can also, so that's on by default, that extra trigger stabilizer. We can also do that, show our persist lines and our average, right? And if you just look at that average, that's looking really nice. We can even add a little more upsampling, and that's just perfectly stable sine curve. So yeah, I was really happy about that, and I think that's about it for now.